Marta nodded and quickly divided the dead into those who had the necessary combative skills and those that did not. Those that didn't have combative skills but would still have passions met by helping defend the pack would act together with Aaron as a battery for the rest of the dead, with Aaron as the facilitator of that energy being passed out. As a necromancer, Aaron could take energy from the dead, but this would be gifted, so that Aaron could then spread it out amongst the dead that were not in direct sight. Visually, this would appear as a fog to the living that the dead can then use as a direct energy. Those with oracle gifts would also be able to send Aaron the necessary information which would be passed on through the energy the dead would soak up. Marta would oversee the protection of those staying near Aaron in case any spiral dancer managed to get past the dead. Aaron sat down and unbuckled her brace so that she could be comfortable. The wraiths that had oracle gifts sat in a circle with Aaron so that they would be able to hold hands with each other, and Aaron so that those bits of pertinent information could be sent out to those that needed it. This would be information such as phobias or even intended battle tactics. The rest took comfortable positions and began feeding their energy to Aaron, careful to not drain themselves. As Aaron began to receive energy and prophecy, she transferred it into the fog-like energy the dead who would be fighting would need. As she began to do this, Aaron's other eye went white. Seeing his concern, Marta spoke to Leo.
She has not been blinded. It is so that she can see far into the field. She is fine. Why don't you shift to your wolf form and keep her warm? I'm sure the temperature is already dropping.
Leo saw the sense in this, so did, curling up behind Aaron so that she could lean back on him. Aaron could feel the added warmth from Leo as her senses ranged out to where the spiral dancers were beginning to encroach on the pack's lands. Aaron could see as a male wraith seemed to inhale the fog, and as he breathed out, she could see the phantasms he created form within the fog. Aaron knew that this gift usually worked within the target's dreams, so this meant that he was very strong in this gift to make them appear in the waking world. This gift, however, would not be physical. She saw a female wraith near the man, and it appeared that she was using her gifts of pandemonium to work in tangent with his gift of phantasms to make what he showed to also be physical. He made it look like a pack of spectral wolves were tearing the spiral dancer apart, and as they attacked, she made the attacks real. The spiral dancer tried to fight back, but his claws swiped through nothing. He called out something in another language, and there were other panicked-sounding calls answering him.
Trigger warning begins. Trigger warning begins.
Aaron's attention focused to another wraith who suddenly jumped into the body of a spiral dancer and used her mastery of the wraith's gift of puppetry to take control. There was a shiver from the spiral dancer, and then a terrified look as he realized he didn't have control over his body. He tried to call out, but the wraith within him didn't allow the noise to escape his lips. There were quiet whimpers as he was forced to turn on his pack members and attack them. As Aaron's attention traveled around the fight, she witnessed some spiral dancers attacking others, some being forced to commit suicide, and others being attacked by things they couldn't see. It very quickly turned into a full retreat for the spiral dancers, as they broke and ran as far from these clearly haunted packlands as they could with their surviving members.
Trigger warning ends. Trigger warning ends.
When it was certain that the spiral dancers were not returning, there was a huge influx of the fog-like energy. All of the wraiths took a deep breath, filling their own energy reservoirs, and Aaron was also able to replenish her own magic reservoir. Leo watched as the color returned to Aaron's good eye and the surrounding wraiths got up from the circle. He gave her a little whine to get her attention.
It's all good, Leo. The spiral dancers have run away in fear of this place. Let me get my brace strapped back on, and then I'm going to have to use you to help me back up. Okay?
He gave her a woof of agreement. When she was ready to get up, he braced her as she stood. Once she was upright, he moved behind her to shift. She heard the sounds of him shifting, so stared straight ahead.
Go ahead and call the Alpha, and let him know the battle is finished, and that I welcome the opportunity to speak with him.
Marta said to Aaron. Leo reached down and grabbed the walkie-talkie for Aaron and then handed it to her.
Alpha Menendez, this is Aaron Blackwell.
Yes, I hear you, Aaron.
The fight is over, and Marta would like to speak with you now, please.
Message is being relayed and I will be out shortly.
Thank you.
Aaron clipped the walkie-talkie to her belt due to Leo not wearing anything besides the loincloth.
Are you warm enough?
Leo asked. He heard Marta mutter a good boy under her breath and hoped Aaron hadn't heard it.
I'm a little cold, but not horrible yet.
She replied. Leo held out his arms.
I can keep you a little warmer, if you like.
She gave a small smile and walked into his embrace. Leo had known she was much colder than she was letting on, but wanted her to want to come to him. He had already messed up too much with her and didn't want her to end up rejecting him.
I don't get how you can be so warm while still wearing so little.
You're really cold. I probably feel a little warmer to you than I actually am, but I'm just going to go with, it's a werewolf thing.
She chuckled and tucked her face into his chest, putting her cold nose on his skin, which made him jump a little at how cold it was. Soon enough, the Alpha arrived, and he and Marta began to speak to each other in another language. It didn't sound like Spanish to Aaron, so assumed it was their native language. After a few sentences, Alpha Menendez let them know they can head back to the main pack house and rest. Aaron looked over to Marta, who nodded her agreement.
Did you want to walk, or would you like me to shift?
I can walk. It feels good to stretch my legs after sitting for so long.
Leo kept pace with her, and when they got back to the main house, he grabbed his clothes that had been folded and placed on a chair on the front porch. He pulled them on quickly before grabbing the door and holding it open for Aaron. The pack house was pretty quiet, as he guided her first to the kitchen to see if she wanted anything to eat or drink, and then to their rooms. He showed her that his was right next to hers if she needed anything in the night, and then continued to her room, made sure she was comfortable, and then left her. As much as he would have loved to share a bed with her, that wasn't his choice to make. It was hers.
Hey everyone, hope you loved the video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe for more awesome sci-fi content. You can also support us by hitting the thanks button or becoming a channel member. Your generosity helps us bring you more stellar stories. Every bit counts. Thanks a bunch.